Hello and welcome back to today's Hurricane Outlook and discussion, recorded on the 7th of November, recorded around 7 PM Eastern Standard Time. Today we're going to be discussing Tropical Storm Eta, and from the latest advisory it has sustained winds of 65 miles an hour and is moving northeast at 14. We can also see some new watches and warnings added from yesterday's video. We can see that there's some tropical storm warning in effect for the Bahamas, and a new hurricane watch for the Keys and the southeast and south and the west coast of Florida, as this could be approaching a Cat 1 status before making landfall. If we take a look at the IR loop today, we can see some structural changes that have happened. Throughout the morning we saw a low-level centre reformation under some deeper convection, and now the low levels up here and under this deep level convection, and this deep convection over here has been displaced because of some southwesterly wind shear and some dry air introduced because of an upper level low sitting in the Gulf of Mexico. If we take a look at the GFS, we can see this more clearly in the 500 millibar geopotential height and cyclonic vorticity. We can see that this upper level low sitting over the Texas and Louisiana state line has started to merge with our system down near the Cuba. This is going to introduce some dry air and some southwesterly wind shear. If we carry on moving out in time, we can see what's going to be steering this system over the next 36 to 48 hours. We have a high pressure sitting on the east side of the system that's going to be trying to push the system like this. So imagine the winds rotating around this system like this. So this is going to try and push the storm up and around. We can see on the GFS though, after the next 54 hours it just drifts southwards and keeps going westwards, keeps going westwards until it just keeps on going and does a loop-de-loop in the central Gulf of Mexico. But what we can start to see happening is we have some competing steering flows starting to play a factor in the steering of this storm. What we can see is a high pressure in the Atlantic right now, and a weak high pressure over Mexico, and a trough that's sitting over the plains. What these are going to be doing, they're going to be competing on each other, so the steering flow is going to be pretty weak for the system. So I'll just quickly show you the steering flow of these things. So this high pressure that I mentioned earlier is going to be trying to push the storm northwards. This is going to try and push the storm southwards into Cancun, where the GFS is showing that this could happen, but the Euro is doing something like this, and then does that northeast turn that I talked about. So if we take a look at the Euro run, we can see what I discussed earlier that happens. So the storm makes landfall in Cuba and then comes up to the Keys and then does that west turn. Where this west turn occurs is important, as we will see who gets the most impacts. But what impacts are definitely going to be happening is some some serious flooding for the Florida Peninsula. And so I'll carry on going out with the Euro model. We can see that westward movement I was talking about because of this high pressure out here pushing the storm westward and thingy. That northeast turn up here. I should carry on going out. We can see this clearly. So by the 96 hour mark, this is the 11th of November, so 3 days out, the storm is starting to make that northeast turn that I talked about. On this run of the Euro, it carries on going and then makes a second landfall in the Florida Panhandle. If we take a look at the H12 Para 12Z run, we can see what the impacts are going to be for the system. Like I talked about earlier, it's going to be mainly the rain amounts that's going to be a serious issue for the system, especially for Florida, as what Florida sees is this strong onshore flow and this deep fetch of moisture from the Caribbean and Atlantic. This is going to be dumping a lot of rain over Florida over the next 5 days, and if the system meanders closer to Florida, they can see even more rainfall. Going out with a run, we can see that it comes in a fairly moist pocket, and then this can lead to further strengthening. That's why a hurricane watch is in effect for South Florida. If we carry on with the run, we can start to see that upper level low that I talked about sitting over here, and that southwesterly wind chill and dry air starting to impact the system throughout its lifetime. It's already impacting the system now, but after it moves underneath it, it should find a relatively low wind shear, and dry air should not be a problem for a few 12 to 24 hours before it starts to come under this upper level low again. So wind chill will increase after this time, and then dry air will try and move its way into the system as it does, seen on the model run, where it crosses the Florida Peninsula and then continues to meander and weaken as the dry air and wind shear tears the system apart. But what we can see, even though the dry air is on this west side, all the moisture is going to be displaced to the east because of the wind shear that will be impacting the system. So all the rain and convection is going to be along the east coast of the United States, and especially for Florida, they can see some significant amount of rain. We can see this on the Weather Service predictions, as from probably Melbourne southwards, you could be seeing 6 to 10 inches of rain, and a nice light pocket of 10 inches of rain down near the south tip, near Miami, I think. And yeah, I think this is near Miami. We can definitely see in this weather service predictions, basically you're going to have some significant rainfall for the whole South Florida Peninsula, South Florida. Sorry, tongue twisted. I think that's everything for the Tropical Storm Eta. Some quick announcements. I do have my Twitter page active where I do regular updates, so if you'd like to go follow me there, I'll leave the link in the description below. Also, I'm in a Discord with some nice people, and if you'd like to ask a question, you may ask a question and it will get answered. So if you'd like to join that, and also leave that in the description as well. Tomorrow I hope to do a longer video, so for Florida, people in Florida, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video tomorrow.